Welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Lewis versus Teixeira. Or Teixeira. I think they're saying Teixeira. I'm going to say Teixeira. I'm going to say Teixeira. Yeah, that's the opening. Lewis versus Teixeira. Yeah, this fight card is eons late, but we're getting into it. The fight card started off pretty well. It started off with Kline versus Martinez. Martinez got finished by Kline in the third round by TKO. Then we had a really cool fight with Ramirez and Davis. That fight was trending in the way of Ramirez up until, he lost the first round, but then in the second round he got TKO'd. But it was trending in his direction. If only he had some pop on his punches, some fire in his punches, then it probably would have looked a lot different. It didn't. Then we had Nzechukwu versus Walker. I thought this fight was going to be a bore fest. Then for some reason I got reminded that Walker has 3 straight heel hook finishes. I'm just fucking lost. I'm just so lost. I'm so lost because now we have these light heavyweight, these sort of lower echelon light heavyweights coming up to heavyweight and thinking they're going to do something special, which in fairness, they might rattle off a couple wins, a la Victor Petrino, who is probably one of the worst fighters in the UFC, but he will get some wins. I don't know if he'll get his next win. I don't know where that's going to come from, but the point is that Walker wins by submission, another heel hook finish, and then we get to the meaty part. Of this fight card. We start off with Murphy versus Moura. Let's just start off with this. This is now the second fight. After watching her first 2 fights, I can't remember which fight it was, but this is I remember watching Moura and thinking to myself, Moura reminds me that there's this underground group of Brazilians who come into the UFC who I don't know how to really... I do know how to say this. There's this underground group of Brazilians, Moura, Petrino, Almeida, where these guys and girl essentially are not good. They're kind of like fake. There's this glow on them. There's this sort of like first round glow, or if you give them a really bad fighter, they're going to look really nice. A la Victor Petrino in his first few fights. Jailton Almeida every fight. And then Moura. This is a situation now. This is twice now where Eduardo Moura is getting away with wins that she shouldn't have won. I forgot the last fight she fought. She shouldn't have won that fight. She should have won. There's a fight in her fightography that she shouldn't have won. And this is another one. Murphy versus Moura, 29-28 to Murphy. Let's start off with the first round. First round, Moura is outstriking Murphy on the feet. Murphy's unable to get going. She outstrikes him on the feet by about 6 strikes. She also has a takedown with a little bit of ground and pound. But this is the part that I know. This is the part that reminded me of her last few fights. It all came back to me. She got a takedown in the first round. And in the first round, when she got the takedown, this is what happened. Her activity level was low. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I can't wait to talk about this. Then her ground and pound started to pick up. But it only picked up because she was in full mount. Not full mount, but because she was in a really nice position. In her previous fights, when she's in this sort of position, she just is allergic to being active. She's allergic to being active. And that also goes with her on the feet as well. When she meets a little bit of adversity, she's not active. She's not active. She doesn't want to get going. On the ground, she doesn't want to get going. We go to the second round where Moura has a takedown, and she does nothing with the takedown. Okay, this is the trend now in this fight card where you can get a takedown, do nothing with it, and still win like the round. It's confusing. It's not even confusing. It's fucking stupid and infuriating. She gets a takedown, does nothing with it. She gets outstruck on the feet by about 3 strikes. Now, here's where we get kind of mixy, right? Murphy outstrikes her on the feet, but it's a sloppy outstriking, right? She outstrikes her barely on the feet, mixed in with some clinch strikes here and there. Essentially, the stuff that happened on the feet is irrelevant to the judging. And it just goes to the fact that Moura kind of held her on the fence, but Murphy was outstriking her. I want to make this very clear. Murphy was outstriking Moura. But Murphy is holding her against the fence. She took her down one time. Again, did nothing with that position. Moura is starting to slow down, and it's noticeable. It's very noticeable. And that's why I put a star in this round. I don't think it's a close round, actually. I refrained from putting a close marker on it. I don't think it's a close round. And I disagree with all three judges here. We'll get to the judges in a second. We go to the third round where it's definitely Murphy's round. I don't even want to say you can argue the second round, but for the sake of being objective, you can argue the second round for Moura. I gave the second round to Murphy. Third round, Murphy, she had two submission attempts. And she outstruck Moura on the feet by about 15 strikes. 29-28 to Murphy. I really think Murphy got robbed here. Murphy got robbed. I can't officially say she got robbed, but I think she got robbed. You go to the judges' scorecards, all three of them had it the same. Derek Cleary, Kerry Rowland, and Rick Winter, 29-28. They gave the first two rounds to Moura, last round to Murphy. This was the beginning of just goofy judging all around. Okay, you go to the next honorable mention, and it's Griffin versus Curtis. 29-28 to Chris Curtis. This had all the great Chris Curtis hits. Complaining, whining, being annoying. It's a weird thing. Chris Curtis, to me, is in the same camp as like Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is a lot more likable, but he's also kind of snobby and pretentious and mean. But Chris Curtis is a lot more mean and annoying. I don't know what it is. It might just be the Hermanson fight. He has this thing of just being annoying. If I go into it more, it'll come off as me. I don't have the words right now. 29-28 for Chris Curtis. Split decision. This was a bad split decision. It shouldn't have been a split decision at all. But again, all the Chris Curtis hits, he gets fouled. He complained. He complained about a headbutt that was primarily caused by him. It's funny. When headbutts happen, usually it's the other guy hitting you with the headbutt, on accident, obviously, because most of them are an accident, unless it's that Brundage fight where, I forgot his name, the guy with the Muslim name, came in and just threw his head at Brundage, and then that whole thing unraveled. Really weird. Back to this fight. The headbutt was caused by Chris Curtis. Chris Curtis swings his head, and then he complains that he got his head hit. Curtis is just all over the place. He came into this fight just like really, really amped, right? And this fight was at welterweight. This isn't a middleweight fight. But back to the card. It had all the hits. You go to the first round. Griffin is outstriking Curtis on the feet. He outstrikes him by 8 strikes. This round reminds me of Hack Press versus Hooker, where Hooker is basically on the back foot, but he's outstriking the shit out of Hack Press. Same thing here, slightly. Later in the round, Curtis finally gets active, but in the first 4 minutes, it's basically Chris Curtis walking down Griffin while getting punched in the face by Griffin. That's the first round. You go to the second round where Chris Curtis drops and he outstrikes Griffin. I don't have the strike counts for you, but it's pretty apparent that he dropped him and he outstruck Griffin. Griffin was slightly outstriking him before he got dropped, but then he got dropped and then he got outstruck. Third round, Chris Curtis outstrikes Griffin by about 8 strikes. All 3 rounds are pretty much the same in terms of the movement. Chris Curtis is just walking down Griffin. And then in the third round, it's different from the first one where he's walking down Griffin and he's actually outstriking him. They're kind of even on strikes for a little bit of that third round, but he just goes on to outstrike Griffin by about 8 strikes. You go to the judges' scorecards where I don't know, people just got confused. I don't know, people got confused. Mike Bell, his scorecard, we'll get to Mike Bell later. His scorecard is correct, 29-28. Last 2 rounds for Curtis, first round for Griffin. Derek Cleary, his scorecard reflects Mike Bell, and my scorecard. And then Anthony Manis has the bad scorecard. He gives the first round to Griffin, second round to Curtis. Gives the last round to Griffin. Honorable mention, that's nonsense. We go to the next honorable mention. It's Tafa versus Tokkos. Tafa keeps getting stuff down her throat. Apparently, I don't know what the matchmakers are thinking. Maybe they just watched a private session of Junior Tafa, and they just saw him strike, and they're like, you know what, this would look good if he fought. And for some reason, it just doesn't. Junior Tafa is just, hey, look at me, I have hands. And then when things don't go his way in the octagon, he throws a hissy fit. He starts to cheat blatantly. Hey, I'll grab the fence. I don't think that happened in this fight. I don't remember, but the apparent cheating was, let me put my fingers in the glove. Now, I'm not complaining about cheating. No, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I am complaining about the cheating. It's when things aren't going his way, let me cheat heavily. Putting my fingers in the gloves, just... You can tell a fighter's frustrated when they're getting taken down so much that they'll just do the elbow. They'll do the elbow strikes from the hip. And that's fine. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with the elbow strikes. But his version of it is, gosh, why am I being taken down? Why am I being taken down? We're acting like he's some elite striker. No. It's just annoying. I'm no longer excited to watch Tafa fight. The first 2 times it was like, whoa, he's letting his hands go. Oh, he's getting taken down. Damn, why can't he let his hands go? Now it's like, dude, how have we not learned how to... This is like, man, it's like watching... It's like watching that heavyweight... Jesus, why am I forgetting names all of a sudden? Who's the heavyweight? I'm trying to think. Oh, my gosh, I'm trying to think. I can't remember. You know, the Australian heavyweight. It's kind of like watching him. If you can't stop these takedowns... learn how to stop the takedowns. I feel like that he could have deterred these takedowns. Instead, once he gets taken down, it's kind of a wrap. We go to what happened in the fight. In the first round, Tokkos had 4 takedowns with very little ground and pound, okay? In between the takedowns here and there, Tafa was slightly active on the ground. He outstruck Tokkos for a little bit, but it didn't matter. He took him down the judges were smoking nonsense. He took him down 4 times. The round belongs to Tokkos. Okay, took him down 4 times. A little bit of ground and pound here. The strikes from Tafa are irrelevant. I mean, stupid irrelevant. Okay, and then Tokkos eventually finishes him in the Tokkos eventually finishes him in the second round. You go to the scorecards. I had a 10-9 for Tokkos in the first round. You go to the scorecards, and it's fucking ridiculous. Saul D'Amato is the only one who has the correct scorecard. He gives a 10-9 to Tokkos. Kerry Rowland and Rick Winter, honorable mention, super honorable mention. This is one of the worst scorecards of the year. 10-9 for Tafa in the second round. In the first round. Honorable mention to those two. It's a bad scorecard. You go to the next honorable mention. This one sucks, man. This one sucks. But in a way, I kind of knew this would happen. Landwehr versus Charriere. First round for Charriere. Close marker. I put a close marker on it. You can argue the first round for Landwehr is very close. Second round for Landwehr, obviously. And then it ends by KO finish in the third round to Charriere. But let's start off with the first round. In the first round, if I can find my descriptions here. Yes, in the first round, it's close on the feet. Close on the feet with the edge to Landwehr. Okay, Landwehr slightly outstriking Charriere. But Charriere had a takedown. All right, and the strikes are really, really close. It looks like a really nice finish for Landwehr. Landwehr kind of ends it. He ends up on top of Charriere, so it looks like he did. It's a great optical look for Landwehr, but he didn't win the round, in my opinion. Again, put a close marker on it, but I don't think he won the round. You go to the second round, Landwehr outstrikes Charriere by about 20 strikes. His striking, you can just tell based off of what happened in the third round that Charriere just wasn't locked in the second round, and he just gets outstruck by about 20 plus strikes by Landwehr. Landwehr's just, he's catching him on the end of his punches. He's hitting him really well, and Charriere just can't catch a beat on Landwehr. And then based off of, because I'm watching it on ESPN Plus, so I can't you can't hear the corner. Based off of what the commentary says in the corner, which is Charriere has to tighten up his boxing. Because even before, once this fight got announced, I was thinking to myself, Charriere has the better striking. I like Landwehr. Charriere has the better striking. And it looked like Landwehr was about to put that pressure on him based off of the second round. It looked like he was just ready to go. And if the finish didn't happen, it almost looked like that was probably going to be the case, but it wasn't. Charriere tightened it up and found the mark, and he finished him. He KO'd him in the final round. You go to the judges' scorecards. Derek Cleary gives the first round to Landwehr. I don't agree with that, but again, I put a close marker on it, so I won't. Did I? What the fuck am I looking at? Yeah, put a close marker on it, so I'm not really gonna argue it. Gives the first and second to Landwehr. Kerry Rowland and Rick Winter, their scorecards reflect mine. First round for Charriere, second round for Landwehr, and there you have it on that. You go to the next honorable mention, and it's another phantom robbery. Okay, Thompson versus Bonfim. Thompson versus Bonfim, 29-28. Now, this fight got spoiled to me because I was scrolling through Instagram, and I didn't see the fight. I saw kind of like the who the winner was going to be. And Bonfim screamed, and I was like, fuck, I got spoiled. And I just kind of scrolled it away. I finally got to the fight, right? And I just think it's the wrong decision. Split decision win for Bonfim. First round for Bonfim. Last two rounds for Thompson. Close marker on the last round. I really think that the decision should have gone to Thompson. It didn't, though. It's very close to last round. You go to that first round. Bonfim outstrikes Thompson on the feet. First of all, he's outstriking him for the first 2 minutes. He outstrikes him on the feet. He also has 2 takedowns, and he has a submission attempt in. It's not like a deep submission. It's more of a neck crank, really. He's kind of just pushing down on his neck. He has a submission attempt, 2 takedowns. It's 100% Bonfim's round. This one was killing me, okay? The commentary, terrible Lorisenko. I don't know why she's on commentary. God help me. I don't know why she's on commentary. She says, yeah, this round is really close. They just someone on either side needs to make one big action, and it could go to that person. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is she talking about? Did she not just... She says that towards the end of the first round. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck did she just watch? Bonfim is outstriking Thompson on the feet, clearly. Has 2 takedowns, clearly. Has a submission attempt, clearly. And she's saying, no, I think there still needs to be done for someone to really take this round. Insane. Absolutely insane. Fucking stupid coming from Lorisenko. Just stupidity coming from Lorisenko. Second round, Thompson picks up the pace. He outstrikes Bonfim by about 10, 12 strikes. He rocks Bonfim at the end of the second round with the head kick. After slipping, even in the moment I knew he slipped. I knew he didn't get dropped, but Thompson kind of slips, gets back up. A couple seconds later, boom, head kick. Wobbles Bonfim. Then we go to the third round, and I don't give a fuck. This is a robbery. I don't care. I put the marker on it, but it's a robbery in my opinion. Close on the feet with the edge to Thompson. Now, Thompson outstrikes him clearly in this third round, okay? He outstrikes him clearly in this third round by 3-4 strikes. A lot of the strikes end up being in the clinch. They're kind of just attacking each other in the clinch, but on the feet, it's close. Bonfim has a takedown. I want to make this very clear. He doesn't do diddly squat with this takedown. He gets him down, but Thompson gets back up immediately. This takedown is irrelevant to what happens in this fight. It's irrelevant. You might as well just not say he got the takedown. He has a takedown, but he doesn't do anything with it. On the feet, the striking goes to Thompson based off of him slightly outstriking Bonfim, and then the fact that he rocks him again. I don't know if the judges saw this. He rocks him again. He rocks Bonfim again. He stuns Bonfim again with another head kick. And yet the decision goes to Bonfim. We go to the scorecards. It's just so crazy. It's so fucking terrible. It's terrible. Rick Winter's the only one, in my opinion, the correct scorecard. He gives the last 2 rounds to Thompson. He gives the first round to Bonfim. And then Dave Torelli and Mike Bell want to be cute, so they give the first round to Bonfim, second round to Thompson, and give the last round to Bonfim. Yeah, there you have it on that. And then to end the card, that was, in my opinion, scorecard nonsensy, but could have ended in a cool way. It guys, I'm telling you, this is fucking. I'm a big Derek Lewis fan. This was a bad stoppage, but nobody cares because we're in Nashville and he called the president and blah blah blah. But who the fuck gives it? This is a bad stoppage. It's a terrible stop. He was gonna turn. Teixeira was gonna turn around. Lewis versus Teixeira. That's the fight. TKO win for Derek Lewis in the first round. He was after the flurry that happened. He was gonna turn around. This is just a bad stoppage. It's a bad stoppage. It's a terrible stoppage, and it shouldn't have happened. And that's it. And that's how we end the card. And we're talking about everything but the fight. Because they want to avoid the fact that, hey, this was kind of a bad stoppage. Oh my God, look, he took out his shorts. Oh my God, and I like all that stuff. I'm not trying to shit on Derek Lewis. I like all that stuff. It's just, let's just zoom past the fact that, oh my God, that was a really bad decision, but the crowd's really hype. So let's walk past it and pretend that didn't happen. Oh, and the streak continues. It's nonsense to me. That's the end of it. That's all. Thank you all for listening, and God bless.